Because it gets like that when we go through stuff. Even in church, I said, Lord, please don't help nobody in church to take this offensively. I don't want to talk today. I don't want to. Please don't help me if I come off the wrong way. If I come off not happy, help me to smile at everybody, right? Because some days I'm in church and people don't know I just got finished crying before I came. Then I get there and I'm amongst the saints, right? And I'm running for my life, running in to get the word and running out, right? But sometimes the reason why I'm running from my house, right, because she's here, right? But as I run to the church, I should be able to stop and I should be able to walk on the way, right? That's not always the case. Sometimes when I get to church, I have to keep running because I'm running from Lizzie outside the church and I'm running from you inside of it. When do I get the rest? Just tell them I'm saved, sanctified, Holy Ghost filled, fire baptized. I got Jesus. I got Jesus. Let's believe I got Jesus. Yeah, and I'm running for my life. Sometimes we get Jesus, and we gotta run, right, hold our chests together and run. Because if I don't run in and out the church, I'm gonna split open. Somebody's gonna see what God is doing in my life. Somebody's gonna see what God is doing in me. I was so excited to find out I got accepted by the state for art, and then I also got in the museum, and they give me an award. I can't post the museum yet. Every day I say God, he says not yet, right? Because I have to honor everybody on that post. And I feel like Sarah and Kelly are looking like, okay, Jim, hurry up. Why hasn't she said anything about the museum yet? I see the state on her board, but I don't see the museum. And plus, they expect you to promote them, right? Promote yourself in them, right? So posting both of them at the same time is not a good thing. And so even though it's a blessing, I have to hide it in me. If you want to know the truth, I knew about the museum a day before I found out about the state. So the museum should have gone up first. But that's not the way I did it. Order doesn't matter when I have to hide. Does it? Does order matter about you? Well, God is trying to hide you, to take care of you. It's hiding biblical. See, David said, he said, thy word have I hid in my heart that I might not sin against thee. Thy word. But I can't open up my shirt like I said before. And I read it on the thing and I just started shoving Bibles into my shirt. But that's dumb. Hiding Bibles, yes. You see movies where they tell you ship the people Bibles or hide the Bible for the people, but that's after the rapture, isn't it? Because you won't be here to hide a Bible. But things get bad like that, the people that are still here that are not listening. See, you are the person that says, I don't want your Jesus Christ. I don't want and you're trying to help them. They say, I don't want your Jesus Christ. I don't want this, but give me a painting. I don't want your Jesus Christ, but give me a painting. Those are the ones that's going to be here, and they don't have to hide Bibles if they actually get saved. Because what do you mean you don't want my Jesus? I thought you said, you told me and you told Pastor Tim that you were saved when I got here. Those are the ones that's going to have to hide Bibles and ship them. No matter what I do, right now, it's not the season for that. Hiding Bibles. You are hawking Bibles, hiding Bibles, when you should be hiding the word in your heart. I said, David, how do I hide? He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Here's a shadow. David like shadows, right? Psalm 23 tells David like shadows. Here's a shadow, right? But even with God's shadow, I abide under the shadow. Nowhere and there does it tell me to hide. I am dwelling under the shadow. And when I dwell a thing under God's shadow, I immediately just abide. But I do not hide. How do I hide? The word. Okay, Jimmy, so it's not the Bible. What are we doing? It's the word. The word. I'm talking 1 John 1:1. In the beginning was the word, and the word was with God and the Word was God. If God is the Word, Jesus Christ himself is the Word, how do I take Jesus? Okay, big brother, come here. I'm going to shove him down my shirt. Are you kidding me? Come here, big brother. David said, I got to hide you in my heart. You crack my chest open, you still won't be able to fit him in there. How can I hide when he's delivered me? How can I hide when he gives me life and life more abundantly? How can I hide when he sets me free? How can I hide? If I'm set free, how can I hide? The blog got destroyed yesterday, but I talked about how Joseph was chained. Free behind bars of his own making. He was never locked up. Selah. Yup, girl, you know, yup. That Joseph guy, yup, girl, yup. Joseph was put in the pit, right? Joseph went from the pit to Potiphar, to prison, to the palace. He was never locked up. When Joseph was put into the pit, he was not in chains. And transporting him from the pit to Potiphar, they put him in chains. I believe that Joseph was so upset about what his brothers did to him in putting him in chains and selling him that the chains never left his mind until he saw his brothers again. Until he got the chance to say, to see if they felt sorry and to say, I forgive you. Sometimes when people do stuff to us, we are looking and waiting for the opportunity to say, I forgive you, when that time may not come. I didn't do something for a nemesis, but I will tell you, without thought, God had me automatically sitting in front of Christina say, we're going to give this to this person, right? I'm going to give this to this person. Not thinking, I know that the relationship that I have with this person is very contentious, but I said I'm going to give this to this person because I want them to have it. I'm not looking for a I forgive you moment. Because what really happens when the person says sorry, you say, okay, I forgive you. What really happens? We have been trained, right? And I know it because it happened to me last week. We have been trained to feel better. After yesterday, I went off on Kurt. I mean, it wasn't mean or anything. I just been dealing with a lot. I had to wear a mask while I was on the phone, and it's just hard, right? Because I said, this is crazy, and I'm not telling anybody everything. Because if I did, they definitely would take these kids from her. I said, I'm trying to train up the child in the way that they should go. That when they're older, will not depart from it. I'm trying to train them up from my apartment. I'm trying to show them, how dare you say you don't like the Christ in me? How about that you don't like the Christ that you see in me, you don't want Christ because of me? I'm ducking my head and dodging my head and lowering my head. No, you don't want Christ because I told you this is what happened and you don't like being wrong. How about I'm lowering my head and dodging my head and put my head down every time that thing walked by me. You put that thing up there. Now you have to sit with it, and that's what's bothering you. That's why you don't want Christ. How dare you? I'm upset. Yeah, I may say a thing or two. But this thing is after me every day, all day long. How dare you? And it's put there because of you. How dare you? I lower my head. I put my head down. I be deferential. I don't blame the thing upstairs. Because it was put there. If it was put there and if I had given free rein to act like it wants to act, of course it's going to act like that. Nobody knows how about standing with her and she went to Johnny's apartment first. Nobody knows that story except Johnny. And how he ran from her. See? It's calculating. Knocking on the door and listening. I've seen it. I was with her. Just need to be careful. If God say train up a child the way that they should go, when I'm around any of the kids in church, Jeremiah was in Alana's arms on Sunday. I said, is he okay? Does he still have COVID? So I started talking to Jeremiah, and the more I talked to him, he just kept giggling. I know he think I'm a clown. He has eyes closed, he just kept laughing. Like, maybe if I laugh, this girl will get away from me. I need a trigger, son. Train up a child. When I'm around Haley, it's my responsibility, even if I'm having a bad day or I'm sick, to lower my head and be humble around her. Lower my head, meaning lower myself, be humble. So it's in church, out of church. Nathaniel and his baby sister that live upstairs will be running the world soon. They'll have some part in it. If they ain't running the world, then they'll be paying taxes to the people that are doing it. It's my job while around me to be somebody that I don't know much about Jesus from my parents, but I remember that one lady. And while I'm doing it, while my every thought is to make sure that they see God in me, I'm being attacked. Right? Think about it. Joseph wasn't doing nothing but what he was supposed to do. He was looking for Potiphar and Potiphar. Stephen Furtick. He called Potiphar's wife Potiphar. I don't think she was hot. I think she was not a fur. Not a fur. That's not a fur. Like nacho cheese, that's not a fur, right? But it's not a bad joke, but anyway, we call her Potiphar. I don't think she's that hot, so I call her not a fur. Anyway, Potiphar chose her. And Potiphar put Joseph in charge of everything in his house. Why? Because Joseph was supposed to be in the promised land. Anytime God sends you to a promised land, he will always send you a deliverer. He will send you somebody, right, that's meant to cultivate and cause the land to reproduce and grow. Joseph was that man. They sent away. They got upset because they said there's a famine in the land that they had. There was no famine in that land. They didn't have to go to Egypt. There was no famine in that land. They had to bring who they left in Egypt home. That was the point. You need to go get who you left in Egypt and bring him home, right? Because if you bring him home, he will fix it. The Bible sure tells us that when Potiphar's land was messed up, the irrigation was off, the water wasn't flowing right, Joseph fixed it. He looked at the maps of the land and fixed it and caused all this stuff to grow, and that's when Potiphar put him in charge of everything and said, you are in charge of everything I got except my wife. Make it happen. Make it happen, right? He put him in charge of everything. And Joseph was reading Egyptian documents, Egyptian blueprints. How did Joseph know how to read a blueprint? You think you're sending him away because you don't like him. You're sending away your blessing. So when they sent their blessing away, see, somebody told me that, I think Pastor Keith told me that, but James prophesied. It was prophesied that they were going to go through that. Yes, God told Abraham that their people would be locked away, right, in slavery for 400 years, but that doesn't mean it's supposed to happen. Prophecy comes for correction, it comes for exhortation, it comes for encouragement, it comes for comfort. And here's a big one for me. More often than not, I don't dream. When I dream, like last night when I dreamed, it's for warning. Do not push this away. God never lets anything take you unawares. You know exactly what's going to happen. Exactly. I can't tell you how it's going to happen, but I know what's going to happen. For me. I also know if I push this away, I will end up walking around that mountain. Right? How stupid do you look? You're supposed to go into the promised land. Instead of you going into it, you are walking around the mountain over and over and over again. How does it look for a tree to walk around the mountain? Psalm 1 verse 3. How does it look like for a tree to walk around the mountain? You look crazy. And he shall be like a tree, which means I should be grounded, gathered, y'all know the 4 G's from Tri-State Fellowship. Mainly I want to be rooted in the Word of God. Trees should have roots. They should not be walking. But you're walking back and forth in the desert, tree. You ain't got no roots. Which means you ain't bearing no fruit because you ain't got no leaves. Tree. Trees, just all about trees walking back and forth in the desert. Because they sent. When they sent Joseph away, they guaranteed that they were going to end up in slavery. Because they had to go back and get him. But when they went back to get him, they didn't bring him back home. They didn't value the home that they had enough to bring Joseph back to it. They should have went and said, "Oh, Joseph, you did all the list? Okay, Joseph, come on home with us. Come on, because we need your help. Because we living in the promised land, and we ain't got no promise. We ain't got no promised butter. We ain't got no promised butter like I promised on it. It got butter. We ain't got no pomegranates. We ain't got none of that. No pom-poms. We ain't got no cheerleaders. We ain't got nothing. You hungry? Come on, Joseph. Come home." The thing is, people should have been going to Jacob in Canaan when the famine started. Instead, they were going to Pharaoh in Egypt. Why? Because they sent their promise to Egypt. You put your promise in handcuffs and sent it with the Midianites. It ain't like Judges 6, when the Midianites was running around stealing everybody else's stuff. You was going to Midianites was going around taking everybody else's stuff. No, you put your promise in handcuffs and sent it with the Midianites away. And wait, here's a better one for you. The reason why Joseph asked them to bring Benjamin is because of the fact that they did not admit what they had done. Remember, they lied. I'm very acute and aware of people when they lie. It don't skip past my eyeballs. Don't think it do. You are a bull-faced liar. People slip their lies in there and then they think, okay, because I tell myself this lie, it's okay. No. When Joseph was asking them who they were, they said, "We have 12 brothers." And Joseph, I don't remember that Joseph asked them to name them off or rattle them off, but he said, "One is home with our father, one is dead, and one is home with our father. And he loves them so much." And that one little lie that they slipped in there. One is dead. You know the one ain't dead. If he dead, you killed him when you sent him with the Midianites. Oh, he dead? How he died? It's not like the whole thing. Not the people asking me about how many siblings I have. I have 4, but 3 are alive. When people ask me about how many siblings, who are your siblings, I think about Tasha, Samantha, and Carl, because I really did not know Yamin. But just because I didn't know him, do I discount him and say he was never here, he was never alive? That's a lie from my pit. I usually don't mention it because it's kind of depressing. But how do I hide? My older brother, how do I hide the fact that I had an older brother? Joseph had 10 older brothers that put him in chains and sent him away. And once he got to Egypt and Potiphar picked him up, I will tell you this, I said, God, did Joseph have chains on him? I don't think he did. Once Potiphar got him, I don't think he had any chains on him. Potiphar's land was open, so Joseph could have left at any time. That's not the point. That's not where I'm going. Where I'm going is in the beginning, when Joseph first got there, he had to work in the ground, his hands in the ground, just like everybody else did. How do you work with your hands in the ground with chains on? He had to take the cuffs off. He had to take the chains off. But he definitely took them off when he promoted them, right? So now the chains are gone. The chains are gone. I am free. And Joseph stayed. And most people say, oh, because he was respecting Potiphar. I have a problem with that too. God never told him to go to Egypt. When Joseph had a dream, I believe that God was encouraging him in spite of what was going to happen. But it was not God's will that he end up in slavery. God was not putting Joseph in slavery. God's not a God of slavery. When God separated Sarah from Hagar, God called Sarah the free woman and called Hagar the bond woman. He called Sarah the woman of promise and he called Hagar Egypt. Egypt is a picture of slavery. God is not going to send your promise into slavery. God knew you were going to do it because you were just. So he made provisions 400 years in the distance, right? But God's not going to send your promise into slavery. You did it. What God sent you to is promise. But you sent your promise to slavery. How does that work? And you blame God for it? Absolutely not. Well, God intended it because God said it's going to happen. He told Abraham it's going to happen. No. Stupid. Not you, but that's stupid, isn't it? God brought Abraham out of emotional, political, and spiritual slavery to bring him into a land, right? Abraham was standing on the land of milk and honey. He brought him out to show him about the sea and how it would not be able to compare the sands, right? And how the number wouldn't be able to compare. He brought him out to show him the sky and how the stars in the sky would not be able to compare to his descendants. Did he talk to Abraham about slavery then? Abraham, you got a whole bunch of descendants, but then I put you in slavery because, you know, when I bring you out of mental slavery, right? Because means we don't know what's going on anyway. When I bring you out I'm going to bring you into slavery. Does that make sense, right? God did not do it. You did it. You sent your promise into slavery because you did not like the way it looked or the way it sounded or the way it came at you. It was colored. No! It was colored. It came with a coat of many colors. Do you realize that Jacob made Joseph the coat, and that was a day? Jacob said, don't wear the coat. Joseph said, please, Father, I want to show my brothers. Please, Father, I want to show. And he said, okay, so let him wear the coat as he went to, I think it was Dothan. Dothan, that's where they were. He went to go with his coat on with them. And here's the thing, he came colored. We don't like colored things or people. We don't like things with color. Cheeriness, when we don't feel that way. Joseph had a dream about the sheaves bowing, circling him, around him in a circle and bowing down to him. When he got out there, they were working in sheaves, but instead of them bowing, they attacked him. They circled him just like they did in his dream, but instead of them bowing before him, bowing to him, they put cuffs on him. They threw him in a pit. They took his coat from him because the coat was colored. It just they couldn't do it. So at Potiphar's house, Joseph had no chains, is my contention. And then when he went from Potiphar's house right to the prison, because Potiphar got him locked up again, right? He went from Potiphar's house to the prison. He was behind bars, right? I still don't think he had chains on. If I'm behind bars, do I need chains? Let's say that he did. And he was on his knees praying before God. He said, God, get me together so I can go back to my brothers and my father. I want to go back to my brothers and help them. That was the desire that God gave him, the desire he was supposed to have. Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you desires of your heart. Joseph had been praying up until that point, and the desire of God's heart was the desire of Joseph's heart. It lined up. But then after he talked to the baker and the cupbearer, his desire changed. His prayer went from on his knees, right? His prayer went from God, get me to the place so I can get back to my brother and my father. His prayer became, God, get me to the Pharaoh so he can release me. Oh wait, better yet, Rufus. Whatever the cupbearer's name was. He was no longer praying to God, he was praying to Rufus. God, give me to my brothers. No, Rufus, get me to the Pharaoh. Oh yeah, he's praying. Of course he was praying. He was still praying. Prayer is communication. He was still praying. He was just praying to his new God, Rufus. When you put your faith in man, they will forget you. Every single time. I promise you. How do we know that Joseph didn't have chains on? If he had chains on behind bars, he did not have them on for long. How do we know? Because he can't help but get promoted. And then when he was in Potiphar's house, he got promoted and he was running things, right? Then he got locked up in jail because Potiphar lied on him, right? But then he ended up in jail, so the jailer went and promoted him to be over everything, over every cell, over everything in the prison. So that jailer went back and sat down. For Joseph to be able to travel from cell to cell and to be over the prison, I can't be over the prison if I'm forced to stay in my one cell. Because I don't have sight beyond sight. I don't have perspective. I can't see everything. So he had to be out of his bars to see everything, to make sure everything was running properly. And with that being said, Joseph could have left. But he didn't. My position is Joseph gave up on God at that point. Because when the baker and the cupbearer came in, that's your picture of bread and wine. And God can't send a Hebrew baker and a Hebrew cupbearer in the prison. They will send exactly what you need so that you can dine. You know I'm with you, right? You see bread and wine, you know that I'm with you. Why would you then tell the baker he's going to die? Why would you kill off bread and keep the wine? He killed off bread and kept the wine. Why say kill them off? Because prophecy comes to warn. Prophecy always comes to help. There's always something that can be done about what happens. Right? Don't do this or this will happen. God is warning me. God warned me about something in my dream last night. Am I going to obey? Oh, yeah. Forcing it waited until December 27th to make sure that I knew what he was talking about. Because it was an odd dream. It was odd. But I know exactly what it means. And if you had shown me before Sunday night, I wouldn't have understood. It wouldn't have made sense. So this night, coming into this day, was the perfect time for me to have this dream. And dreams and interpretations belong to God. I know exactly what it means. I shouldn't think, oh, Joseph was such a great man. How did he interpret the dreams? You can interpret dreams too. Interpret your own dream. Just ask God. You ask God, and God will give you the interpretation. Therefore, you interpreted the dream for yourself. How do I do it? I ask God. I know my dream, and the dream looks scary because everything is up close. And there's that one person that I'm at a table where there's food. Oh, tell me about this thing. Psalm 23. And one person I see directly to my left, because it matters, because I'm on their right. That's what matters. Not that they're to my left. This is why you have to know God. Because I can look at one thing and see one thing, but somebody else will look at the same thing and see something completely different. I'm on the right. That matters. Since I'm on the right, this person is directly to my left. And I know exactly who it is. It feels like who it is. It's that the person is the person interacted with me, and the only one that interacted with me closely, the only one to talk to me. It wasn't a bad situation. It was a very homey situation. We were at a table eating. A long table. And what happened was beautiful. Made me very angry in my sleep. Still made me, I don't like it. But it's beautiful. Because God was warning me. Joseph took the dream that man had and he killed him with it. Here's the thing, even if the man is going to die, why wouldn't you get on your knees and pray with him? You just got up off your knees talking to God. Why wouldn't you? And then he did what we do as humans. Okay, you going back to the palace in 3 days. Okay, you go back to the palace. Don't forget me. Okay, boop, boop. Here's my Sally, here's my two-way, let's be best friends. The people that you think have influenced you. Get close to them. Don't forget me, we're best friends. I would love to know how many people, and I'm guilty, because I said there's 400 people in my church. I did not see Pastor David before he stepped up. And I know who he was. And I sat all the way in the front. And for what I see, Miss Andrea generally sits in the back. I did not see them. And he said he was sitting there. He was there. It makes me ashamed. Because he said, God, what is wrong with me that I did not see him? So after church, I get up, even if I don't feel like it. If I'm writing still next, taking notes, I get up and I try to talk to somebody different every day. I don't want to be said that I did not see you. I get to heaven. He's like, what church did you go to? Jamie, we went to your church with the Tri-State Fellowship. What? I don't know who you are. I know you're not. I didn't know them before they stepped up. And I feel bad for not knowing them. I feel bad for not knowing their kids. I know their kids, and when I look at the kids, I know exactly what their names are, who they are, exactly what their names are, in the order that they come in. It's 4 of them. It's not that hard. And so I look at the other kids in the church, and I can't remember the name of Kristen's 4 kids. But I know Pastor David's 4 kids. But I can't remember Kristen's 4 kids' name. And I ask her, and she tells me. She has to tell me again. But I know Karen's 5 kids. I know Christina's 3. Ashley's 3. What does that say about me? Do better, Jamie. Just because these are people that you know and that you're around, that you like. I love Kristen. But I don't know her. I know her baby boy's personality. I know his personality. I know the oldest daughter looks